feet in diameter and a whopping 10.5 in height. Think of it about the same cubic feet as 2 minivans. So obviously every piece of that capsule has flight displays, hand controllers, touchscreen interfaces, so much to work with and practice with as well. Now, while on board, they will also have the ability to eat those shelf-stable meals that are designed specifically for microgravity. I think I saw somewhere that one of their meals is going to be mac and cheese and brisket, so that makes the Southern in me very happy. All right, but they are going to have also some time to look at some things like power and propulsion. They will have 3 key propulsion systems that are going to help power Orion as well. And speaking of power, I want to bring you back to the service module real quick because I wanted to point out these 4 solar panels. These are going to take about 18 minutes to unfold like giant wings, and they're going to stretch 62 feet from end to end, and these are going to help power the service module and in turn provide what the crew needs for their journey. So as you can see, spacecraft is built specifically for what we need and to guide them and get them home safely. All right, back over to you, Megan.
Thank you so much, Megan. You know, it's taken thousands of people many years to get to us to where we are today. Let's meet some of the people of Artemis who've made this flight test possible.
I am the Artemis Launch Director.
I'm the Orion Crew Survival System Manager.
I'm the Artemis II Chief Training Officer.
I'm the SLS Launch Integration and Mission Operations Lead.
I am the Recovery Director.
And I'm Boeing's Core Stage IPT Leader at Kennedy Space Center.
I am the Artemis II Entry Flight Director.
And I'm the Closeout Crew Lead for Artemis II.
Our job is to design the spacesuits that the crew will wear for the Artemis II mission. The team here at Johnson Space Center in the Orion Crew Survival Systems Lab does pretty much everything involved with processing the suits, designing the suits, qualifying the suits, testing them for the Orion mission.
The role of the Chief Training Officer is to manage both the planning and the development of how we are going to train our astronauts and run our simulations for our flight control team for the mission, and then go implement that plan.
Recovery team is responsible for 3 things. So recovery is what we call our nominal recovery situation, where we go recover the crew and the capsule at their designated landing site. Rescue is in case we do need to rescue the crew and they landed somewhere else that we did not plan. And then the retrieval is us getting the capsule if they did land somewhere where we did not expect them to.
My job on SLS is to manage the operations architecture on the SLS program. One of the specific things that we do is support launch operations. It means a lot to be a part of this Artemis team, to show the next generation in seeing what may come.
I am responsible for our core stage processing at Kennedy Space Center. My team is responsible for that core stage, and it's our responsibility to make sure that core stage is safe, built correctly, and there's going to be 4 of our astronauts, and it's going to get them to their ride around the moon.
I've been a flight director for over 10 years now. I worked on the Artemis I mission, and after that mission completed, I was assigned as the entry flight director for Artemis II. I can't wait to see the hatch open after splashdown. That's when we know that our mission will be complete and the crew will have safely returned to the moon and back to Earth.
Closeout Crew is responsible for getting the astronauts up to the White Room, getting their helmets and gloves on, getting them into the vehicle safely, connecting all their umbilicals, making sure they're ready to go for launch, and then closing the crew module hatch. The reason we do this is to expand mankind's knowledge. If I can be a part of that, doing anything, I want to do that.
The launch director role really is to step back and kind of take that big picture view of launch. How are we doing on any NCs? How are we doing on our timelines, our procedures? Artemis II is a beginning. It's going to inspire a new generation. It's going to uncover science. It's going to serve as a pathway to places that we have never been before.
And to meet more people of Artemis, you can head to the link we're going to put up on your screen there. Just, again, really nice to see all the faces that have put in the work, the time, the hours, the dedication to get us to today.
Yeah, so many professionals that worked so hard on this mission.
And what was really fun to see is, you know, we interviewed Taylor Hose, closeout crew lead, as he said, and that's who we are now seeing inside of the White Room as they are getting ready to close out Orion and close one of two hatches. We have the side hatch of the crew module as well as the launch abort system hatch, correct?
Yeah, the astronauts are in the capsule. They're ready to go, and now the white room is very busy as they're getting ready to close both of those hatches. That's a great shot right there where you can see them. Almost looks like they're doing that hatch seal inspection that we talked about.
And so, Nicole, as we continue to see them get ready to close that smaller hatch, again, the crew module side hatch, let's take some questions now.
Sounds good.
A lot has changed since Apollo, and I have a few questions about what's next. What part of the moon are we exploring through Artemis, and what are some of the key points that NASA needs to consider when planning missions like this?
Were you expecting to see Scarlett Johansson? I think that took you.
Yeah, I mean,
took you aback.
We've talked about this, but everybody has an interest in this mission. You know, it's humanity trying to explore and go back to the moon. And I love this question. You know, what part of the moon are we going to? You know, eventually we want to get to the polar regions, the South Pole specifically. We think that there are volatiles there, so water ice, something that can be harnessed as a resource as we create the permanent base on the moon and then try to get onto Mars. But getting to the moon is a tricky mission. You know, we're going further than we have in a long time. And, you know, on the International Space Station, we're 250 miles from the Earth. And so we're pretty close. We resupply that spacecraft pretty often with cargo missions. But the further and further you get away from Earth, the more you have to think about the lack of cargo, the comm delay. You know, there's a communication delay the further away you get. And so there are different and unique problems as we continue to explore further and further out into the solar system.
And there is so much to learn about the moon. So it's no surprise that, yes, even though our goal is to have a moon base at the lunar South Pole, the lunar South Pole is not the main focus of this lunar flyby. So instead, the crew is going to be focused on observing the far side of the moon. So this is actually an animation of what teams expect the moon to look like if the crew launches today. So this is, of course, the side that faces the moon, and this is the far side of the moon, which when, again, the crew does their lunar flyby on flight day 6, we are expecting this will be their view. What an amazing view and an opportunity.
Yeah, you know, there's so much to learn from this particular mission because obviously we're not landing with this mission. And so they actually potentially could see the South Pole and kind of scope out what our landing regions look like in the context of the entire moon. But also they're going to see parts of the lunar surface that have never been seen before by the human eye. And so they're going to take these detailed notes. They're going to record themselves talking about what they see. You know, we do a ton of geology training as astronauts, especially this Artemis II crew. They did a ton of geology training working with scientists to learn how to pick out the unique portions that we want to go study. You know, what is the context of the moon? What parts of the moon look interesting and look different? You know, the impact craters that we talked about earlier. So really trying to take all the pictures, take all the observations, write down, talk about their observations, and record as much data as we possibly can for the researchers back here on Earth.
Yeah, it's so important to, yes, we're all talking about what they hope to do during this 10-day mission, but you really do have to think about all the training that goes into this. I mean, you have 4 crew members who won't, you know, have the support the way that they've been having the support. I mean, they'll be talking through communications, but you know what I mean? It's just them and the moon, right? So they need to be fully aware and equipped with everything that they'll need to do to be able to accomplish the objectives that we hope to accomplish during this mission.
Right, and their specific flyby around the moon, you know, the lighting will be different and the path will be different depending on when we launch. If we launch today, it would be different from tomorrow. And so, you know, they actually had to learn the geography of the moon so that they can orient themselves when they're on the backside of the moon, because they're not going to have communication. You know, they're just going to have a, I think, 45+ minute comm blackout while they're, while they're on the far side of the moon. And so they themselves have to know what things look like on the moon, how to orient themselves, and how to get the data that we're looking for.
Yeah, really ambitious mission. Excited to be here at the start of it. All right, so another check of the clock, 2 hours, 57 minutes and counting to the opening of our 2-hour launch window for Artemis II. This pivotal test flight comes 250 years after America began its journey as a nation. As we celebrate that milestone, a special live performance now of our national anthem by singer Ann Wilson.
at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A beautiful rendition. Honestly, I'm a little emotional, a little speechless.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, again, we are a nation of explorers, a nation of curious minds, and to see us